Maxwell on the creation of Israel. Now, this keeps getting taken down, so this may not live here long. All right. So let's go back. Let's look at this. Fuga plan, Japan. They almost went with it. They almost went with it. All right. And like I said, Texas. But they also almost went to, like I said, Ukraine.
There and everywhere. And then they finally figured it out. They went to England and they talked with the Lord Rothschild.
Oh, Rothschild. You mean that family that basically got super rich when they fooled everybody about Napoleon winning at the Battle of Waterloo? And he didn't, but they sold the bonds, and everybody sold the bonds the Rothschild bought them for pennies on the dollar. And then they owned the UK.
Lord Rothschild said yes, and so he was the Lord. They went to the Lord, and the Lord said, yes, I will give you a place to live. And so the Lord Rothschild said to go to the one place in the world that is the most docile country in the world. Go to Palestine. Those people are just farmers. Go in there and just rape them. Just go in and take everything and tell them God sent you. That, nobody.
Kind of like Portland, right? Portland, so smooth, so docile, such a beautiful place. Very liberal, of course. Every place where it's very liberal, no cojones, no spine, and they have these people come in and take over. And then the fighting men have to come and rescue them. I'm like, just build a friggin' wall. Let them just exterminate themselves.
Is going to argue with that. If the Lord sent you, then that's that. So just go in there and take over the country, pile in with tanks and guns and machine guns, and pile over into their country and tell them the Lord sent you.
The idea here, though, was that the Palestinians had been subjugated.
The Lord sent you, right? So you can't argue because the Lord sent the chosen people, right? This is a big fat lie. It's a big fat lie, and an honest Jew will tell you that.
By the British, the Egyptians, various other peoples had basically ruled over them, and that was just the way of things. They were constantly in this sort of position.
The most important part of this whole story has been missing since day one, and that is...
Wait for it.
Israel is a creation of the Masonic order, British Freemasonry. The Masonic order created Israel, period, and created it for a political reason, so that eventually there will come a day that the Masonic order continues to publicize the idea that the Lord is with the Jewish people, the Jews are the God's chosen people. That's all Masonic folklore, and none of it is based on factual truth. None of it. Today in Israel, there are many professors and teachers, archaeologists, paleontologists, scientists who are writing books saying that there was no ancient Israel ever existed. It's a story that has no basis in fact whatsoever. There was no ancient Israel ever. It never existed. There was no King Solomon and King David and the kings and queens and all of these wonderful names of great prophets and all these people that we see in the Old Testament, the New Testament. None of it is history. It's all made up by secret societies and fraternal orders in Europe, which seek to establish some sort of a world government based on the idea that it is God's will, and we wouldn't want to fight against the Lord. So we don't want to fight against God and his divine will. So therefore, we all need to shut up and just accept what the British.
All right. I know probably some of you have seen this over time. I remember like folding the 20 and the 50 and the $100, and we saw all of like for the 20, we saw the Twin Towers. You guys remember all this? You don't remember this? Well, it was there, right? I don't know if you can still find them on these bills, but when they're folded in a certain angle, like you see here, you can see the buildings. So they show you what they're going to do. And if you don't protest, then you've given them permission to do it.
Freemasonry has given us. They have given us what we call Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. Israel, the three names of the sun god in the ancient Middle East. Israel is a product of Freemasonry. It is a Masonic creation, and this whole idea of a reestablishment of the Temple of Solomon. Right now, we're hearing a lot of information about, they're going to reestablish the Temple of.
All right. So there's a lot there, guys. I mean, you can go down these rabbit holes. I've been down a lot of them already. Rabbits, the white rabbit, right? Like in the Matrix, follow the white rabbit. Right. The Playboy bunny, right? The Easter bunny, all of this stuff that, we have followed for a long time. You start to go down some of these rabbit holes. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. But you have to, because if you don't have the knowledge, then they will take advantage of you and your children and their children. Do you want that? All right. So Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson is hot on this. He's hammering away at this, guys, and they're pushing back on him hard, saying that he's a bad man, all kind of stuff. That's what they do when you go after Israel.
Well, we put up with the attack on the USS Liberty that everyone's so afraid to talk about, clearly targeted on purpose by a country we're supporting, Israel. And it's somehow shameful to say that? Why? Why is it shameful to say that? Who knows why it's shameful to say that, but it shouldn't be. And until we have some self-respect, not anger or hate, but just dignity, it will continue. In June, for example, during the 12-day war, such as it was with Iran, during that short conflict, there are a bunch of Israeli Defense Force officers in the Pentagon that week. And during that week, ask anyone who works at the Pentagon, they enraged American Pentagon staff by just barging into meetings, giving orders, making demands, and nobody did anything about it. How can a foreign military officer barge into military headquarters, even if invited, but barge into a meeting and start demanding, we want this, we want that, you need to get on this? The more you allow that kind of deeply unhealthy behavior, the more you're going to get.
The more you're going to get if you don't have the knowledge of what's going on. If you don't have the knowledge of what's going on in your city, your county, your state, it will continue and it will get worse and worse and worse. It will turn into Europe. It will turn into Portland. It will turn into Chicago. It will turn into New York, right? So you have to become informed. And I tell you this like that because who knows how long I'm going to be here, right? Because we've seen, I've been attacked many times. I've almost been taken out many times, right? There's the wifey's going to start to. So you're like, oh, Mike, she's going to do the grilling? Yeah, because I'm doing the work here. I'm going to get in trouble for that. So we're going to, I grill too. I cook too, guys. Come on. I made juice earlier, fresh juice. So, and I'm going to cut the watermelon. So I do my part. I clean up sometimes. So anyway, Carolyn Levitt confirms White House is looking into Kentucky parole board's release of brutal child killer. Kentucky Democrat governor, right? So you would think that Kentucky is quite a red state. Evidently not so much. All right, here's the gentleman right here. And I say that he's a monster, really, not a gentleman. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt has confirmed the White House actively investigating the Kentucky Parole Board's decision to release Ronald Extance The man responsible for the horrific 2015 stabbing death of 6-year-old Logan Tipton. There was a day in the past where if you committed murder, you were behind bars forever and maybe even executed, right? Well, look at this. The murder occurred on December 7th, 2015 in Versailles, Kentucky, when this man, 38, broke into the home of the Tipton family in the middle of the night. So this man had no prior connection to the family, randomly selected their house and proceeded to stab the sleeping residents with a butcher knife he found in the home. Logan screamed as he was murdered in his own bed, a scene witnessed by his terrified sister, Dakota Tipton, who was also assaulted. Dakota, then 12, described the horror in chilling detail. Xanthus stabbed her in the back, stomped on her head, and flung her across the room. She awoke to see him killing her little brother. Logan's father, Dean Tipton, confronted the intruder and was stabbed before being thrown 10 to 15 feet. According to reports, Xanthus told Dakota during the attack that he intended to kill every member of the family. Xanthus was arrested at the scene. In 2018, after a trial, a jury found him not guilty of murder by reason of insanity, but convicted him on assault charges related to the attacks on Dean and Dakota Tipton. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. However, due to good behavior, education credits, those liberals love that education. They push that education, don't they? And time served, Xanthus was granted parole and released on October 1st of this year, a few days ago, after serving approximately 8 years. Okay, so he's criminally insane, so you don't try him for murder, but you try him and give him 20 years in prison, and he's out in 8 years? Does anyone see a problem here? Well, the White House did, but can the White House cover all of this? This is insane, guys. I can confirm the White House is looking into this. It's wholly unacceptable for a child killer to walk free after just several years in prison, Levitt wrote on Saturday morning. It's like almost every state is effed up. Like, what the hell is going on? All right. There's no constitutional states anymore, it seems like. There's corporate states, and they profit off of crime. That's why they send these people back into the streets. That's why they have transgenders in bathrooms, or boys that identify as girls. If this ever happened, I remember when I was in high school, if this ever happened in high school, that kid would never come back to that high school if he survived, right? So yeah, it's, and I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina, but even there, I'm sure it's changed.
Hello, I'm Leslie, and I'm a junior here at Esperanza High School. And the reason why I started this
Now,